Not me searching my whole entire house to find my little bit that fits on my camera so I can put it on my tripod, only to realize that it is actually just sitting on top of my tripod and I couldn't see it. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I am finally getting around to doing all these plant chores that I have been putting off for so long. I finally have the house to myself, I've got the morning to myself, so I'm going to smash it out. I have a lot of grow poles to extend. I've got a lot of grow poles that need topping up and filling. I've got some plants that might need some propagating. I've got lots of watering to do. Yeah, we've got a lot to do and hopefully I can get it all done today, this morning. Fingers crossed, but let's just jump straight in. Okay, so I need to work fairly quickly because I need to do this outside because it is very messy, but the sun comes up over the house and this area gets a lot of sun, so I kind of want to get the plants done before there's any direct sun on them. So here I have a bin full of tree fern fibre and this is what I'm going to use to top up some of the grow poles that need refilling. So I'm just going to go inside, grab all the plants that need filling, bring them out and get to it. This is my mint variegated Monstera Adansonii, which you would have seen in my previous video all about my Monstera collection. I think what I might do with this one is actually just extend the pole, fill it up, and then I will deal with it next spring, I think. Okay, I'm going to get a pole, make it up and put it on top of this. Not that you can really see, but the pole is now extended and I'm going to fill it up with fern fibre and then just attach the plant back to the top. Can I do it without making a mess? So this is what tree fern fibre looks like. Push it down your pole. Like so. I like to tilt it on an angle like this so it all runs down the back of the pole and doesn't spill out, and then I use a stick to just gently pack it in there as you go, because you don't want massive like air pockets in the pole. You want it to be quite compacted because the roots can actually still grow in, but when you compact it down it actually holds on to the moisture a lot longer. Now what I'm going to do is just secure the plant onto the pole and then onto the next one. So what I actually like to use to connect the plants to the pole are actually these Propagation soil pins. I find they just push in nicely to the substrate and they hold the stem against the pole, and then you can simply just pull them out once the plant has rooted. And sometimes if it's got quite a chunky stem, I'll just gently bend them open like that and then pin the plant to the pole. This one here is another one you would have seen in my Monstera collection video. This is my Monstera Siltepecana El Salvador, and as you can see it's a little bit bare at the bottom, and I was talking about whether I should chop it and start the new plant again, and that is what I might do, because it does need an extension at the top as well. I don't know what to do. I think what I might do to start with is extend the top of the pole and fill it with substrate. So the first pole I used, that black one, that is a plant thingy pole, and these clear ones are the grow thickly grow poles. Now the plant thingy ones you can only get in New Zealand, but these thickly ones you can actually get on Amazon, so I will leave a link to them down below. I have them in my storefront for those who are overseas. And if you're in New Zealand, you can get these on my website, and the plant thingy ones. Again, everything will be linked in the description below. that is that one all made up, ready to go. Okay, so this beautiful plant is my variegated heartleaf philodendron, and she is getting quite tall. I've just filled up the pole. I assume you don't want to see me fill poles over and over again, so I did it off camera. But this plant I am actually going to cut. So I'm going to take the bottom pole off, use that for cuttings, and then I will keep the top too and plant that up as my new plant. I'm going to get my snips, sanitize them, and then I'm going to cut the plant and take the bottom part off. Fingers crossed it goes okay, because this plant is looking beautiful, but it is getting too tall for the space that it's in. And I want to also propagate some of these for my shop because I get asked for them quite a lot, and they are very, very beautiful. These are the snips I use. I just use these little alcohol wipes to sanitize them before I propagate any of my special plants, because I would hate for any pest or disease to spread to them. So I just give them a good wipe down. And you can see all the dirt and stuff that comes off them, so yeah, it's a very good idea to sanitize your shears. Okay, so I want to cut it here. Oh, it's done. Okay, it's done. So actually this part of the plant isn't even rooted into the pole, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut them. I'm just going to go ahead and cut them into single nodes. So if that's not rooted, then hopefully I should. Oh, that one is. Okay, so we did it. I've got the top of the plant, which is going to be my new plant, and the bottom of the plant, which I'm going to propagate. So I'm going to go ahead and pot this one up. Because it doesn't have a root system in the pot, I am just going to pot it into straight tree fern fibre, and then the roots that are in the pole should be enough to sustain the plant while it develops the root system down here. So I'm only going to use a 9 centimetre pot because it doesn't have any roots at the moment and it doesn't need all that space. So I'm just going to fill up the bottom with fern fibre. And then pop it into the pot and just backfill. Make sure you cut that bottom leaf off because it's going to be under the substrate. Cute! So that is my new plant. Okay, as for this one, I am going to take a few more cuts. This plant here is another one that needs sorting out. This is a Scindapsus Silver Hero, I think. Looks really lovely, but it is growing off the top of the pole. So I don't really know what to do because where it is I can't extend the pole. So I think maybe I'll just cut the top off. Now, should I start these cuttings back on the pole to fill the pole out even more? I think we can give it a go. If you can see there, I have potted up and pinned the cuttings in the bottom of the plant. I know it looks a bit crowded, but hopefully they'll sort of weave their way up and fill up the pole a bit more. So I need to water in the substrate and just wet in here so it encourages the roots to grow into the pole. Don't tell me I wasn't recording. So it turns out I wasn't recording for that whole thing, but this is my philodendron painted lady. I was saying it is in much need of a pole, so what I did was I took the top cut off, which are these 3 leaves. I removed the bottom leaf, and these are its nice aerial roots, so I'm going to pot this bit up on a pole and then I'm going to cut the rest up for cuttings. But first I want to let that bottom end dry off and callus off a bit before I pot it up. So I'll pop that aside. And then I will just cut these into, I think probably just single node cuttings. They've all got pretty good aerial roots. I'll just trim any dead roots off, but I'll do that. Okay, so I'll leave the bottom of the plant like this so it can regrow. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4 cuttings from that. And this one you'll see I did leave 2 nodes on. That is because it has been cut before. So this node is spent and this is where the new growth will come from. So these are my cuttings here, and I've actually removed the leaves because what I found in my experience is that plants actually start growing and rooting a lot quicker when they don't have their prop leaf on. I don't know why, I have just found that in my experience. And don't worry if your little cuttings don't have any aerial roots. Once the plant starts growing from here, it'll put down roots and it'll establish a root system that way. So I'm just going to pop these on top of some tree fern fibre, water them in and put them in my grow tent. And as for this, I'm going to pop this up on a pole. Okay, I'm just using this white plant thingy pole because I had one lying around as one of my samples, and I am going to just pop this in there. I used plant Velcro to hold this one on because it's quite a thick stem. But yeah, I'll just water that in and go and put it back in its spot. Okay, so I've only got 2 more extend and fills to go. This is my philodendron Florida Ghost, and it needs a pole extension, so nice and simple. I'm going to do that one now. I saved the hardest for last. This is my Monstera Esqueleto. Again, if you had watched my Monstera collection video, you would have seen this guy and known that he needs a stake as support and a pole fill with not quite an extension yet, so he just needs a bit more support. So I'm gonna go see if I have a garden stake somewhere and pray the wind doesn't blow them over. I found a metal garden stake. I'm just gonna go and give it a wash and a sanitize and then pray that it works. Really don't like the sound of the crunching roots, but it's got to be done. And then I am going to use my plant velcro and attach it to the pole to the stake. Okay, so here is the Monstera mint in its position with its new pole and pole extension. It is very close to the light and it is actually bleaching the colour out, so that's why I think next spring I will chop that one. There is big boy Monstera Esqueleto over there. We've got the Siltepecana El Salvador with its new pole extension, and did I water that? No, I haven't watered that one yet, so I'm going to water that. There is the Syndapsis, and I actually cut one of the bottom leaves off just to give the cuttings that I've put in a bit more light. And this is where the little heartleaf philodendron lives, the variegated one that we chopped the bottom off. And this is where the philodendron painted lady lives. Hopefully they'll do all right. We are sort of in autumn now, and I still think it's going to be warm enough for them to root and establish in their new positions before winter time comes. That's why I had to get it done, because we are heading towards the end of the season. And down here is my philodendron Florida Ghost, which got the pole extension. And I don't know if I showed you, but a while ago my Epipremnum pinnatum skeleton key got root rot, and I have been rooting it and growing it back ever since, and it is now doing well, so hopefully it continues. Okay guys, I think that is all I have time to get done today. I'm glad I ticked off all the big jobs that I really wanted to get done, and I think I'm going to have to do some watering and feeding in the next video, and there is still a few other little bits and pieces I want to do. I want to give some of the plants leaves a good wipe down and a good clean, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little planty chore vlog with me. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any planty content, and leave a comment if you want to see any certain type of video. I am more than happy to make what you guys want to watch. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! And poles to